and sacred how my bloodline flows. You better I care less about yours. But I take a second's breath and I'll survive in my mess. My dares to answer prayers and Nancy Jane the best. Western deserts dream of a delta where rivers neat and green can't help but grow. They'll learn to earn what you'd rather, and life's driver see what's best called home. Her pa was too fun, but Texas tough. A firewater flask made his pocket puff, but golden soul bread was fed in ballroom. 6 kids laid heads. Cindy, Christy, Nancy, Jane, Gary, Coy Jr. traced the faith, all found their way, best friends today. No child labor laws at Odessa's best family shoe store. Toe jam on teen hands taught them actions way more. Ma dreamed a space away from her best house cluttered pace. But friends and Midlands kids knew no more happening place. Something's unfair, what life dealt you. No givers sleep by their healing shadow. Here's a touching tale that melts you, and I'm the biggest victor. No work of my own. Grandma King gripped the reins when her love cord had its final day, but seeds defeat the weeds when of such stock you're made. In moments most clear, I feel the best ghosts near. Their truth carries through to lead to you. To lead to you. Tell me to you. I want to start by apologizing to the Best family. Last time y'all were on a group phone call, I was in Owensboro pacing the yard in the house looking for a lost wallet. So Mom tried to put me on the phone. I was not happy. I apologize if I was curt. For Mother's Day, it's silly for me to think of putting Nancy Jane Best Bradshaw into one song. Mom, Dad, and Susan are all over all my songs. My songs are covered in references from all of them. But for Mother's Day, I wanted to particularly focus on a part of Mom's story that I don't think gets enough credit. And that's the challenges and success story of the Best family. It's just incredible from the outside in looking in. My dad's childhood wasn't easy either, changing schools every 6 months, bouncing around for the welder who was good enough to make the pipe strong enough to keep everybody employed. And Mom's childhood was equally as challenging. 6 kids, 3-bedroom house in the hot Odessa sun, long before the comforts of really good AC systems. They were fed by the Best family shoe store. So you've got a couple with 6 kids, small house, feeding everyone through selling shoes. Well, already it's such a beautiful Americana story. Unfortunately, Mom, being the 3rd oldest, lost her dad when she was 13. So there were 3 younger than she, and then of course her 2 older brothers. Wasn't easy by any stretch. Not that any Best I've ever heard complains about it, but things were tight with one parent, and it just really, I guess, a lot of kids grow up with challenges like that. But fast forward to today, as you all sit there in South Carolina together, gathered, all survivors, all healthy, and what do we got? We got a psychiatrist, a couple of teachers, Mom and Cindy, Christy, the pharmacist, a scientist, and a Marine officer. I mean, the fact that they came from what they came from and all turned out so well, where they all still meet to this very day, it's just incredible. And I just wanted to kind of look back and reference some of the things Mom told me about her childhood in this song. One thing was that she said, in that house there was noise and clutter at all times. And she used to love to stay the night with her friends who were a little more well-to-do because their houses were bigger and there was more space and it was quiet and peace of mind. But Mom said all her friends wanted to stay at the Best house because it was fun and exciting and always something happening and always someone to talk to. I just think that's so cute. I remember Mom told me when her dad died, she was staying at one of those friends' house. And I just remember the story how they knew his time was getting near. And she got a phone. They called that friend she was staying to let her know that Coy had passed. And Mom accidentally picked up the phone and realized she shouldn't have been on the phone. And then when they came to tell her your dad's gone, she acted surprised, even though she had accidentally already heard. Just little touching things like that. As the song says, it's a touching tale that melts you. And I think about it so often and just how it's what a beneficiary I am from both sides of my family. A few other things about the house. It was tough. Mom she said she was so sick of the heat. The West Texas heat was so miserable. Long before good AC systems, and I'm just so proud of all of them, who they are and what they accomplished. And their one white elephant of the song you probably want me to address is my favorite line, where we talk about Coy, and it says, "A firewater flask made his pocket puff." Mom told me that Coy, being the patriarch, he wasn't a very good businessman. He was too nice. He would give things away. Just kind of a fun-loving guy. And throughout the day, apparently, he had his little flask, old school, West Texas, badass rock star style. Just kind of had it to kind of maintain through the day. I had to reference that. because I want the world to know that, with my past with drinking, I'll say it like this. My view on alcohol, very simple. Some can, some can't. You can even shorten that. Some can't. Some people just have the allergy. And I don't think it's really worth even explaining why, but moving forward with the song, it's always about just, that one, they stick out. They are usually the last to know, as everybody knows. But, you hear all the theories, it's genetic. And when I was getting help, you'd hear all these horrible stories of people in their childhood and this and that. That wasn't the case with me. It really wasn't. I just had the allergy. For whatever reason, when everybody else was going to bed, alcohol triggered some adrenal gland or something in me that would just give me this unwarranted and unnecessary and unfortunate energy at 4 a.m. So, and with energy, and if I've already been drinking, stopping was hard, damn near impossible at times. But I want the world to know, and you best to know, and you Bradshaws to know that now that, coming out the other side, that part of our culture, that party animal in us, it's not some part of the family that I try to overlook. It's my favorite part of both families, is the way that and then passed on to us a very social, fun way to live. And just to grow up, when I measure the challenges I had with alcohol versus the joy of growing up in a house where every week there was some fun gathering. Grill would start, and when I'd be in bed, the sound, the white noise that I would go to sleep to twice a week, usually minimum, was the sound of laughter. In the next room, in the den, someone would say something funny, everyone would start laughing, and it was just such a joyful sound that really became a lullaby to me as a kid. You compare to some kids growing up with their parents fighting or just having parents who aren't social, where it's always creepy and you hear creaks all over the house. Our house was nothing like that. It was such a fun place to meet new people. There was always someone coming in and out the door, a new perspective, a new person from with my dad's work, often some other culture, and just priceless growing up like that. And what it taught me, I think it's why Susan and I are both such showmen at heart, is it's the social side of the Best and Bradshaw family that I wouldn't trade for anything. My only regret's hurting those mom and dad and a few others, more than I'll care to say, hurting people through my drinking. That's my only regret. And then, of course, I regret that mom and dad, being who they are, I know at times they feel like, it's our fault because we drank, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I don't even believe the allergy has anything to do with genetics. If it does, how do you explain American Indians whose parents never touched a drop and give them alcohol, they fall apart? And to that point, if it isn't genetic, to me, it doesn't really matter because we're also built for the battle. I can't tell you how many friends I've lost to alcohol. Friends who I would piss more alcohol in one bender than they drank their whole life. So, yeah, alcohol was around, but damn it, we're survivors. And that's not by no luck. That's by no work of my own, as the song says. That's good genes, man. And I'm just grateful. So grateful for that. And that needs to be mentioned because a lot of the traditional thinking, I think, makes my parents beat themselves up. When I'm here to say it's my favorite thing about you. Some have the energy or some have the allergy. And then some, I think, don't have the allergy, but their body just gives up and you just can't do it physically anymore. And it's not dramatic. That was the case with Dad, functional drinker for decades. And then at some point, the body just said no. And he's had the best years since. Gary, that kind of sounds like that might have been your case. I don't know much about it, but you just said, it's not doing me right. My body can't boom, done. And I'm just proud of y'all. I really am. I don't want there to be any misunderstanding on how I feel about that particular subject. My songs are covered with it. The culture it put in me, the the stories I can tell because of the West Texan tough pocket puffing shoe salesman. These just real characters in these songs. I'm so proud of all of them and the people who inspired him. And I mean, our house, growing up, I remember Susan and I, say there was a bad moment in our house and the air was kind of thick. Susan and I had done something wrong and we were kind of, everyone was giving each other the silent treatment. Susan and I could both snicker to ourselves, and because the next day you'd hear mom or dad on the phone saying, okay, yeah, well, I'll start cooking it. So, okay, well, have them come on over around 7:30. And we just laughed at ourselves and go, so what, mom and dad, you going to sit and pout when your 3 couples come over and, sit by the fireplace and watch the football game? We never got stuck. It was all constant action, kind of like what the best house was to mom's friends, just constant flow of personalities. And it really, I owe everything creatively to that kind of early experience. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I'm grateful to those who recognized, that they had the allergy or that their body can't take it. Those of us who survived, which is the vast majority. I'm grateful for those of us who got those chances, and I certainly got mine through the family as well, chances to recover, way more than one. I'll keep rambling. I could say so much about this, but for the sake of time, I'll let you best get back to your party. I hope you enjoy the song, and I love you all so much and just couldn't be more grateful for the blood going through me. I feel that West Texas dust that just makes me, I like to think it's made me a lot tougher and more loving than certainly anything I ever did on my own. So I love y'all so much. Nancy Jane, the best.